Today we're going to look at sampling methods, and there are three possible methods that you need to consider. The first one's a really simple one, and it's called the simple sampling method. So in terms of what you do here is you have some way of getting a random sample of the whole population. So it may be that you put everybody's name in a barrel like this guy over here is doing, or it may be that you have some sort of random generator. Now you can get random generators for just any particular number, either on your calculator or in Excel. I'm just going to quickly show you both methods. So the first method, if you're in your calculator, so you have to go to your math button over here, and if you need to scroll across to this one over here, so the quickest way is to go that way, and then you can simply come down to number 5. Now let's say you had 100 people in your population, so I'll be going a random number between 1, and you use your comma over here, and 100. Alright, and then enter, and all you have to do is just keep pressing enter. Alright, and you'll get a random sample coming up. Alright, so that's a random number. So if you had 100 people, you could assign a number to all those people in the sample, and then you could actually pull a sample of 10, 20, 30 out using the concept of this generator. Right, that's pretty easy. The other one you could do is if you go to Excel, you type in a formula, equals, you go ran, and start writing random, right, and this is the one. So you're just putting a random number in between, say 1 and say 100 again, enter. Now if I fill this down, I can generate a number of random samples. So if I wanted to have a random sample of about 24, then this gives me all my random numbers. Alright, so you can see sometimes you might get a number like 63 appearing twice there. If that's the case, then you just ignore that value. And really simple if you want to just update that. Right, so all I have to do is just fill that down, and they all automatically do another random sample. Right, so notice them all changing really quickly. So that's a skill that you might be using when you start doing your investigation and you want to pick a random sample. It's a really quick way of doing that. Alright, let's just go back to looking at the second idea for a sample, and that's doing a systematic one. So this one might be, as they're using an example, if in Rundle Mall, right, you might actually choose people walking past you. You might choose every 10th person that walks past you and try and do a survey on that every 10th person, right? Or you might have a list of people and you might just choose every 10th person in that list, right? So again, we need to keep in mind a sample population. So if we're looking at the population of Adelaide, maybe around 1 million people, so you need to do the square of 1 million people, which would be quite a big sample to get a real feel of what the population wants. Right, so I think that sort of gives you. So if you wanted to, like example here, they're using here. If you wanted to, you had a population of 100 people, and you wanted to see what 5% of the population there. That means that you're doing every 20th person. All right, so get a bit of an idea. All right, now it doesn't have to be that you'd sample number 1. You could sample number 5, 15th, 25th. You could do every 15th person. You can just play around with that and do that. And that's called a systematic sample. So you're systematically going through a list and you're picking out, where a person is. It could be even like having people lined up. You take every second or every third person in the line, right, to make a group. All right, so you might have seen that in action before. The third example is called a stratified sample. Now, the main reason why you do one of these is if you have a inequitable population of a certain thing. Right, so they use the example of a school, which I think is quite a good one. But I could be thinking of a work site and so on with that as well. So let's say in your school you've got these number of people in year 8, you've got 137, you've got 152 people in year 9, 174 people in year 11, year 10, 168 in year 11, 121 in year 12. Right? So obviously if you just pick people at random, it's going to be more year 10s and year 11s, aren't there? So you're going to get more of a bias towards what the year 10 point of view is. Alright, so a fairer way of doing that is basically taking a percentage of the population. Right, so if we're looking at the number of year 8s, right, so let's say we want to take a sample of 50 people. Right, so what you do is you simply look at the number of year 8s over the total number of people, right, and then you times by the number of people that you want in your sample. Right, so in this stratified sample, looking at example there, that means I would pick a random sample of year 9 year 8s. I would pick 10 year 9s, I'd pick 12 year 10s, 11 year 11s, and 8 year 12s. So you get your sample of 50, but you've got a true portion of that particular year level that you're looking at. So these are 3 techniques that you can use that I think are really important there. Right, so the important thing about that is you're dividing your population into subgroups here. Right, that actually makes sense. Right, so that's what you're doing when you're looking at using your sample. Now the questions that you'll be doing in this section will be from exercise 6A3. Right, so probably wanting you to really work through these ones here. So as an example of what we were talking about, it doesn't need to be, like the school example, but if you're looking at this, say, retail store, you've got 62 salespeople, you've got 98 junior salespeople. Now, if you just did a random sample of that, you're going to get a fair portion of these people here, the junior salespeople, that are going to be dominating that survey. So, if you really value everybody's point of view, then maybe for that one there, a stratified sample would be a good one to do. Alright, so we can play around the different techniques and we can see what, what each group would tell us in terms of the number of people and the type of person that would actually be in that group. Have a go at those questions, good luck with them, and catch up with me if you need some help with that.